Hey girls! Today we're going to talk about how to turn an unmotivated seller into an owner financing deal. Ready?
This is not just a theory. This is, I want action, and she's going to help you get there.
She's talking business to you, but she's talking to you like you're just a regular person.
Nothing beats being here in person, meeting face to face, and having that energy and that experience live.
You let it out, and it all comes back to you 10 times over.
Think of anything you can think of. What do you people want? Tell me what you want.
If someone would have told me when I was flipping 2 houses a year that I was going to flip 20, then 30, then 50, I'd have been like, I don't know how to do that. I'm barely getting 3.
I bring ladies that are doing deals up on stage so that they can share their success stories. We're doing deals. We are active real estate investors. To learn it from somebody real and to be able to talk to them and ask them questions afterward, I think that's invaluable.
It's made me so much more confident as an investor.
You can do this. Anyone can do this.
If you're already in real estate investing, there is a space for you here. If you're brand new, you can't hardly even spell real estate investing, there's a space for you here. Hey girls, it's Whitney Nicely from She Buys It. Today we're going to talk about how you can turn those unmotivated seller leads into owner financing deals and get a complete slam dunk. In the beginning, when I was doing real estate deals, I was doing a lot of lease options. I was doing a lot of assigning. I was doing some wholesaling. I was in real estate investing full time for over a year before I got my first owner financing deal. It came in February of 2015 and I was thrilled. This gentleman had actually been in my first set of yellow letters that I sent out. So in the very beginning, I was sending out yellow letters to absentee homeowners and saying, hey, you want to sell your house? And this dude never called me back, but I was sending like 100 of these letters every single week. So there was lots of people that weren't calling me back. And there were some people calling me back that I wish were not calling me back, but they were calling me back and cussing me out, but that was a different day. So in February of 14, I sent out some yellow letters and this dude got one, but he didn't call me until February of 2015. All right. So when I tell you that you need to start telling yourself you're a successful real estate investor now, I mean, you got to start saying that to yourself now. A year from now, you will be a super successful real estate investor. So do me a favor and do yourself a favor. Down there in the comments, type it in. I am a successful real estate investor now. I want you to go ahead and say now, whether you've done a lot of deals or you've done no deals. In the beginning, I hadn't done any deals, but I started telling myself that I was a successful real estate investor now, and then I became a successful real estate investor now. So go ahead, start telling yourself 15,000 times a day that you are a successful real estate investor now. And tell me, tell all your friends, tell everybody watching this video down in the comments that you are a successful real estate investor. Type that out. I am a successful real estate investor now. I go through, I like, and I give hearts. I reply to all of those comments, and I get so excited to see you start to claim it. You are a successful real estate investor now. All right, so back to the story. I sent out the yellow letters in February of 2014. This dude called me back in February of 2015, and he said, hey, I got your yellow letter last year, but now I'm ready to sell my house. Do you want to come buy it? And I said, sure. I'm a successful real estate investor. I'm a successful real estate investor. I'm a successful real estate investor, right? I was saying to myself on the way to the appointment, I'm a successful real estate investor now. I'm a successful real estate investor now. Okay, I was just repeating that to myself over and over and over, and that's what I want you to do. I am a successful real estate investor now. So when I got to the gentleman's house, his tenants were still living there. And this was before I had the 3 rules. And my second rule is that I want the house to be empty. First rule is I don't want anybody behind on payments. Second rule is I want the house to be empty. And third rule is I don't want any other real estate agents involved. I'm the broker for Whitney Buys Houses, but I don't do regular real estate and chase the clear to close and jump through all those hoops and go to the circus, okay? I don't do that. I buy houses. You don't need a license though. In fact, if you want to learn how to buy houses without banks or a license, go to getyourfirstdeal.com. And I've got a free masterclass. I've got a totally free training where I will show you how you can make big bucks super duper fast by doing these real estate deals, by doing these creative financing deals, by getting these owner financed houses. All right, you can do this. Go to getyourfirstdeal.com. I think there's a link down there in the comments too. Getyourfirstdeal.com. When I got to the house, I was looking around the house. This guy had his tenant that was still living there, but she was at work. So we were looking at the house, and I told him that I would buy the house, but she had to be gone. The tenant had to be moved out because I buy houses that are empty. That's my second rule. And by talking to this gentleman, I found out that he is a successful real estate investor also. But his main thing is he buys condos. And his honey hole is in Myrtle Beach, all right? And a honey hole is where we go to make the money, honey. There's another video on how to get a honey hole so that you can start to find your honey hole. But it's where you are investing so you can be a big fish in a small pond. So you can make that money, honey. So you can feel like you're actually achieving something and you're becoming a big deal because you're a successful real estate investor. Well, this dude had been buying condos in Myrtle Beach and putting them out on a vacation rental program. And I can teach you how to do vacation rentals also. It's super fun. But he was doing that, and that was his gig, and that's how he was making passive income. He had a daughter who wanted to go to Carson Newman University in Jefferson City. So since he was a real estate investor and since he was a successful real estate investor, just like you, he bought her a house. When she went as a freshman, he bought her a house. She lived there. She had some roommates, some of her girlfriends that were on the team with her or something. I think she played volleyball, maybe track, I don't know. And all these girls were living in the house, and it was cool because her roommates, her teammates, were paying him back for his investment, and he didn't have to pay out for somebody else while she was renting a room in their house, right? So he's a real estate investor. That's what he does. He buys houses. But he bought this house outside of his honey hole. After his daughter graduated, he rented the house to her teammates for a couple years, and then the recession happened, and then he just stuck a tenant in it because even though he was, going through the recession with the rest of us, he still had all these vacation rental condos in Myrtle Beach, and they were making a bunch of money. So he just didn't really pay attention to this house out in Jefferson City. And then as, his daughter was gone and he didn't know the teammates anymore, he just decided to put the house up for regular rent. And this, he had a series of renters and tenants in the house until he just decided, you know what? This woman that's living in this house, she's put in her notice that she's going to move. And he said, I've got all this stuff going on in Myrtle Beach. I really need to focus my attention on Myrtle Beach. I got this one dinky little house in Jefferson City, Tennessee, and this Whitney girl wrote me a letter and said she wants to buy it, okay? But I sent him the letter, and it took him a year for all of that to happen, for his tenant to say she was moving out, for his daughter to say she definitely wasn't coming back to Jefferson City, and for him to say, I don't want to be dealing with this one house. I want to go to Myrtle Beach and focus on the properties that bring me the big bucks instead of this $800 a month house in Tennessee. So that was the conversation that we had in the kitchen. And that's how I found out that he was a successful real estate investor. He also let me know that he paid cash for the house when his daughter was going to school and using the house. And if he paid cash for the house, that means it's free and clear. And to own or finance a house, it has to be free and clear. This house hadn't had a mortgage on it since he'd owned it. It was a perfect candidate for owner financing because he liked that monthly money coming in from it, but he didn't want to have to worry about making sure there was a tenant in it. He didn't want to have to worry about making sure that the plumbing was working. He didn't want to have to make sure that the grass got cut. He was tired of being a landlord to this house. He was a super successful real estate investor with his condos in Myrtle Beach, but this house was draining his energy. Guess what I said after I was putting 2 and 2 together? Standing there in the kitchen. I made 3 offers. I told him I could pay him cash, but it wasn't nearly as much as he'd paid cash for it 7, 8, 10 years ago. He said, no, I don't want to take that little bit because whatever money I get from this house, I'm going to buy another condo in Myrtle Beach. And I said, okay, I can respect that. I said, you know, how much are you getting for rent? He said, I'm getting $800 a month. And I said, would you be willing to take less than that and not have any of the headaches? He said, what do you have in mind? I said, well, you know, I could start sending you maybe $600, $650 a month and be buying it from you at the same time, which would, you know, probably help your taxes because if I give you a big check for it, you're going to have to pay capital gains taxes on it as an investment. He said, right. I said, you'd be getting almost the same monthly money and none of the headaches. He said, right. I said, and we can set it up so that these payments go straight into your bank account. That way, you know, he was a younger kind of fella, kind of my mom's age. I said, if something happens to you, your daughter would go ahead and get this money from now until forever. So what do you think? Would you give me 10 or 15 years to pay this thing off? I'll send you $600, $650 a month. He said, actually, yeah, I think that sounds like a good idea. Why didn't I come up with that? I said, I don't even know how I came up with that. No, I said, I think you did come up with that because you told me that you'd bought some of those condos with some owner financing and you gave me the idea. Remember, when you're negotiating with sellers, you want it to be their idea to owner finance the property to you. So that's how it happened. He was willing to take, I think I ended up paying him $650 a month. He gave me 10 years. He didn't give me 15, but he gave me 10 years to pay the property off. I paid him $650 a month, plus taxes and insurance once a year. And then I didn't put any money down. I didn't go to the bank. Nobody checked my credit. And this deal was a good deal. I bought the house for, I think, $110. It was probably worth $120, $125. This house was on Center Circle. I've had 2 houses on Center Circle. This was the first house that I bought with owner financing. It was also the first house where my tenant buyer cashed me out and got their mortgage. I've done 70 some odd creative financing deals in the last 3-4 years. And this was the first owner financing deal I did. I had 10 years. And then I put a tenant buyer in the house. And that tenant buyer got a mortgage and bought the house from me. It was the first time I got owner financing and the first time a tenant buyer actually did what they said they were going to do and bought the house. Well, I'll have to tell you that story in another day, but I will tell you that I had 10 years to send this guy $650 a month and my tenant buyer bought the house in 15 months, in 1 year and 3 months. So I only had the house for less than a year and a half. But I did the full picture of buying the house with owner financing, selling it to a tenant buyer who just needed some time to rebuild their credit and get a mortgage. It was a beautiful story. It was a wonderful situation. I would love to help you get those deals. I bought the house for $110. I ended up selling it for $125, so I made $15,000 there. My tenant buyer paid $800 or $850 a month. I made $200. I think I made $200 a month. Every single month from my tenant buyer, the difference of what I was paying and what he was paying. He gave me $8,000 to move in, and then I got the difference of $15,000. So it was about a $23,000, $25,000 deal that I made in 15 months just because I knew how to turn an unmotivated seller into an owner financing deal. You can do this too. Go to getyourfirstdeal.com so that I can show you more about creative financing. While you're here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell notification, and don't forget to check out all the other videos on creative financing. Ladies, I'm here to help you get these investment deals done without banks and without a license. If I can do it, you can too. Y'all let me know if you have any questions. Drop them down in the comments, and don't forget that you are a successful real estate investor now. Bye, y'all.